Hello, YouTube. I wanted to do something slightly different. Little body positivity. I am not your stereotypical pretty person. Not the kind of person you see on popular YouTube. And I frequently go makeup free. I've had a lot of issues, as many women have, struggling with their body image. And flaws that we see, and we feel less than subhuman somehow because of our physical looks, because they're placed so high in our society for our value as women. It's particularly challenging. And I wanted to explain a few things so maybe you don't feel so alone. You may or may not have noticed, I don't know how well it shows up on here, and sometimes it's worse than others, that my face is spotty dotty, and I'm typically red all through here around my chin. I actually have the good fortune of being born a redhead, and so often people just assume that they're freckles. They're not freckles. Some of them are, but most of them are not. I have a skin condition called rosacea. It causes you to be able to see the blood vessels in the face, and reddening of these particular areas across the bridge of the nose, the cheeks, the chin, and some cases are worse than others. I have a mild case, so it doesn't show up as much. It used to really bother me. Sometimes it's worse than others, and it took me a long time. I was teased when I was in school for my complexion, and I had a really hard time accepting myself with my skin, and I thought there was something wrong with me. A lot of people have rosacea. They have psoriasis, other conditions that are a part of them. Maybe they have a birthmark that they try to hide beneath makeup or feel less than because of. And some cases of rosacea are so severe they almost look like a lupus rash, which people with lupus also have these type of skin issues. A rash that's called a butterfly rash that goes across their face and across their nose, and it's very bright red, or you can see the blood vessels in their face and skin. And it's part of a health condition. Or like this lovely thing that I was born with. I tried to get rid of it when I was young. I went to a dermatologist to have it froze off, but it came back. I actually took a knife to it and chopped it off myself one time. That's how extreme people's discomfort with themselves can become. And that's why I put myself out there, despite that I'm not stereotypically pretty. I'm not perfect. And I put myself out there without makeup, without my hair done, just how I am, because I know how it feels to feel less than and desperate just based upon how you look as a woman in our society. So I want to expose and explain some of my physical characteristics that I put on blast on here so that you can know you're not alone and there's nothing wrong with your skin, your face, your complexion, your teeth, your birthmarks, your imperfections. Just the way that you are is good enough. I also have, I don't know how well you can see this, but all these red marks throughout my chest area, they're actually little tiny spider veins. They're not purple, they're red. Again, people just assume it's has to do with my being a redhead. Um, and sometimes they're more inflamed than others. My chest area will get red, and these will be very visible. And sometimes people will ask me if I got injured or I scratched myself or something. But it's not very noticeable at this point. I have a genetic condition called hereditary hemorrhagic telangiectasia. That's why I had to have surgery on my lungs, because it affects the big and small blood vessels in your body, and the veins and arteries form improperly, and you can get aneurysms in various parts of your body, internally in the big arteries and veins, and externally in the small arteries and veins, because it affects the arteries and veins throughout the body. You get visible telangiectasia, which are tiny veins in your body, similar to the rosacea on my face, showing my skin arteries and veins. This chest little micro breaks are because of the genetic condition that my veins and arteries are abnormal. And so you can see in my skin in various places my blood vessels in tangled little inappropriate knots that are visible, or the small blood vessels in the nose. People can get nosebleeds, which I fortunately haven't had very often, but it just affects the blood vessels throughout the body. So I also have little spider veins all across my chest. And it can get worse over time. So can the rosacea. Both tend to get worse over time, and there's no cure. I'm more concerned with the latter issue for my internal organs than I am for the superficial differences that it creates on my body. But I also have crooked, crammed teeth. I didn't grow up rich. My family struggled, and I wasn't in a position to afford braces or any correction of my teeth. As I've gotten older, I've considered something like Invisalign or other options to straighten my overcrowding. But just like this and the rest of it, I've also kind of come to embrace it. It's part of what makes me me. And everyone in America, almost everyone, has these perfect teeth. They weren't born that way. They were made that way. It's some sort of societal importance to have these perfectly straight teeth that aren't natural. And yes, it improves your appearance. So does makeup and covering up every little imperfection that you have. It makes you closer to perfect, but it makes you less you. And just like Jewel used to have one little snaggle tooth, and then she got it fixed, and she has this perfect smile. And she's almost irrecognizable. She doesn't look right. I liked her snaggle tooth. And frankly, I'm fine with my snaggle tooth. But I certainly know that I'm not the picture of what's expected out here typically on the internet. And I put myself out for a reason, for many reasons, and one of them was so that people could begin to embrace themselves. Women in particular can begin to embrace themselves as I work on embracing myself more and more as time goes on. You'll never get any younger than you are this moment. Appreciate your physicality. Appreciate your body. Appreciate what it does for you. And appreciate your uniqueness. It's these little quirks that we have that we hide beneath makeup to fit some box, beneath clothing to fit some box, so that we can all be the same. And often it's that uniqueness about you that makes you appealing. It is your crooked teeth. It is your beauty mark. It is your broken capillaries. It's those things that your port wine stain that you hate so much. It's all those things that make you, you, and separate you out from the rest of the crowd. It's those things that you should, that we're told we need to run away from, that we should actually embrace. And frankly, I'm fine now with my crooked teeth, and I don't think I would change them. They're part of what makes me me. And I'm learning to like me. And hopefully, through exposing my own imperfections in each video that I make and in depth on this particular video, explaining and literally pointing out some of my flaws. You can see the redness right there, and on the end of my nose, and some of the spots. Literally pointing out my teeth, my mark, my own flaws. You can embrace yourself from head to toe a little bit more. Perfect is an illusion, and perfect may not be where you want to be, because perfect is a dime a dozen. That stereotypical example of what a woman looks like: thin, blonde, airbrushed. Be you and love yourself exactly how you are. If you really want to change something for yourself, like get some braces, something that would be truly beneficial for you, go ahead and go for it. It's going to help your self-confidence, if it's going to help you functionally. Of course, treat something if it really bothers you. But by and large, learn to accept yourself. Learn to love yourself. It's the way you feel, the way you carry yourself, that makes an impact more than the look you have. So love the skin you're in. It's yours. Bye, YouTube.